Hey guys, today I thought I'd do a little unboxing and kind of a flip through of these different interesting planners in journal that I've been using for 2020 and maybe could give you some more options when you're thinking about finding one for next year. And so I'm going to go over this Taiwanese brand called Fleurir Lab, this Japanese brand called Nolty Listy, another Japanese brand called the Nagaoka Shoten BizGrid, and finally a Taiwanese planner called Take a Note planner. So let me start. So first is the Fleurir Lab, and I've got it in A6, but the other size it has is a B6 size. And as you can see, it's bound very beautifully with kind of the stitch bound, so the book lays flat completely. And I wasn't putting it in any covers because I really like this paper illustration cardstock cover, so I've been leaving it naked. So first you would see is an interesting preface, and you would be able to do some sort of goal tracking based on past, present, future, life list, the ideal day. So this is just an interesting layout in the beginning. You have the yearly index. So from January to December, you are able to kind of note down significant dates or special events. You also get this very interesting productivity related chart. It's a Gantt chart. I love to use this so much. And so for each month, you can have some chores, or you could be a book list, how long you spend reading it, which movie or which show you spend reading it. I really like to use it this way. And then finally, the one that people care most about is, what is the regular layout like? So at the beginning of each month, you get a little bookmark kind of preface page. Usually it's in like a little poem. And by the way, because this is a Taiwanese planner, lots of the things inside are going to be in traditional Chinese. And so you would actually find that they had lumped the monthly layout with the subsequent daily pages. The Fleurir Lab Planner is 1 day, 1 page. So because they also uses Tomoe River paper, but in 68 GSM, it isn't that thick of a book. If you think about that, there's a day for every day of the year, a page for every day of the year. And so here you can see these interesting kind of like the traditional calendar dates, the weather, the seasons, and even some astrology signs on there. And for most of the empty spaces, you get grid blank sections. For the daily pages, you have a timeline on the left side. And unlike the Hobonichi, you don't get any quotes, so you actually have this extra space that you can write in. And on the right side of each entire spread, you get a little calendar of that particular week you're looking at. So up on top, you can see the days in English, the numbers, which day out of 365, and then some little moon charts and astrology signs, all that. And then finally, at the end of this book, you get like a little bit of note pages, not too many, and they are gridded. You have like an about calendar. So what I really like also is the fun pages they included at the back. You have this ideation page. You have some ritual ideas, but unfortunately they're in traditional Chinese. Daily ideas, list ideas, so prompts to help you write. You have this really cool worry tree, so when you have to make like a decision or feeling worried about a problem, this is how you can approach it. And then some more that's related to more like Chinese medicine and those kind of language. And finally, you have like the astrology chart. I like it. This girl that creates the Fleurir lab planners called Piranha, she's really good at the design factor. So I've been using this as a supplement to my health journal for self-reflection, meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude journal. The next book I want to talk about is the Nolty Listy 1. I said 1 because 1 is the layout that contains the vertical weekly. So Nolty is a brand from Japan that has like a variety of sizes and layouts. So I am particularly a fan of this layout. It's 2020, it's an A5 slim, similar to the size of a traveler's notebook. And at the beginning, you would get this sort of also like a yearly index, and I've been using this to track like gas, when did I get gas, how much should I pay for gas, and because this is my schedule, like my planner, so I've been trying to use this for functional purposes. And you also get these monthly spreads. What I love about this compared to the Hobonichi is that it's just so spacious and just the right size. I mean, compared to the A6 size Hobonichi, I like it for the clear grids. It's very minimally designed. Everything is gridded, so you can actually make checklists over here and then write notes down. So what I end up using this area for is usually list about mails I'm about to receive from my shopping, or general monthly to-dos that's important. And obviously, financial-wise, when to pay the bill, doctor's appointment, meetings, and all that stuff. So you get those monthly pages lumped all together in the beginning. And you then have the weekly spreads, and they are in the vertical format. And as you can see, you get the month in English very clearly. You get the date, and I just love it because I think this is a more minimal alternative to another well-loved planner, the Jiben Techo, but it's very simple. You get some empty spots up top where you can make daily checklist. And here is kind of like color shaded area to indicate when it goes into the evening time, and plenty of space down here for general notes. And this is actually where I track like daily spending and little things like that. And then here are my section for weekly to-dos. And finally, at the very back, you get a little bit of a note page, and they're also gridded. And by the way, I forgot to mention, because what I got was a Loft collaboration edition. So the inside of the paper, as you can see just now, it's actually inked with green ink, but I'm using a regular one next year, and it's usually printed in like this very comfortable gray, so it's also very nice. But I just really like this one because it's only through the Loft collaboration this year that you get this deep forest green. So kind of some sample usage for the monthly. I have my shopping list and when they are supposed to come. You know, I track different appointments, I stick a lot of stickers in them, and then I usually decorate with washi tape. And here is an overlook of like my weekly spread. I would track weather, kind of in the head looking at temperature throughout the week, to-do list on the left, spendings over here down here, and then using these section, because this is my to-go planner, like I take it with me to work. So throughout the day, I would note down accomplishments of the day, checklist, what I did, and then kind of do some time blocking, retrospective time blocking to kind of help me remember what I did during the day, so that at night when I go to my journals, I can reference this book. And here's just like a messier version of that day. Some days I just cover it with journals, washi tape, stickers. So yeah, this is the Nolty Listy. So remember how I said it is a Nolty Listy 1 in the beginning? It's because you've got the vertical layout. So if you look for Nolty Listy 2, it actually is in the format of horizontal weekly with a completely blank grid page on the right side. But I really like the vertical format, so that's why I already got my 2021 Nolty Listy through Amazon Japan. And so it's got this beautiful, nice teal color, and you might find the standard of the Nolty Listy under the number 6501, but mine is this teal color, so the variation number is 6510. And it's really nice. So the next one I want to talk about is the Take a Note notebook. This is a planner designed in Taiwan and is used mainly as like a school planner if you want to buy it from National Taiwan University. And last year happened to be their 5th anniversary, so the cover is extra neat. And as you can see from the back, it's also binded in the stitch binding so that the entire book lays flat very easily. And so just going through the spread, I've been tucking a lot of things in here. And at first glance, you get obviously the yearly index, and then this is their take on the Gantt chart. You get the entire month on one page, and you can have 2 rows to check off important things you wanted to track. Their monthly calendar is sort of like their highlights. So note that this is an A5 size, but compared to Hobonichi, the calendar is actually kind of constricted a little bit because the creator wanted to leave some space here on the right side where you can reference the numbers, the page number to that specific week, but also on the left, you can write down weekly to-dos based on that corresponding row. And here right below, you have like this entire blank space for whatever you wanted to track. And I remember seeing usage examples of, tracking by personal work or, special project. And note that up here you also get some blank space. So there's a lot of space around this main calendar to do extra notes. I actually attached the Traverse Notebook tabs. So here is the unique layout of Take a Note planner. By the way, this comes in A5 and A6 size, but we don't know what size they're gonna have for 2021 yet. So what I like about the Take a Note is that it's essentially 2 days a page, but you will see that because there's 7 days, how do you make it equal across the entire week, right? You essentially take up 2 spreads. So in the beginning of the week, you actually get this mini calendar where it shows you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here on the left. And these are just tiny columns where you can write down important reminders for that specific day of the week because you don't get it all on one spread. And I like using this to highlight important tasks. And then here on this side, these empty columns, you can use the timeline grid on the left side or, write down, use it as a journal and do some creative collaging. So that's what a lot of users in Taiwan have been using this for, is like a smaller version of the Hobonichi Techo. Even though the size is big, the page space for each day is actually significantly less than the commitment you have to make when you're using a Hobonichi Techo. And finally, towards the end, you get a little bit of note grid pages. And here you are, some grid pages, and then in the back is just like the trains you get in Taiwan. So I really like this layout, and I want to kind of show you some examples of how I've used it. This is like a month at a glance because I'm using the Take a Note as like a journal, my Chinese journal. I've been using this section as kind of like a gratitude log, logging down significant things of the day throughout the entire month, decorating it by theme. And on the left side is kind of like the Chinese summary of what happened that week. Another example, because I've been using it as a Chinese diary, I've been writing in Chinese and being very fun and liberal about decorations. And then some days I just end up using a lot of photos, so it kind of became like a photo album collage style. And then if you want to track certain specific topics, here's me using this planner as an Animal Crossing journal in which I utilize this weekly calendar right here to write down significant milestones in the game, and then throughout the rest of the week I use it as a diary and a journal type method. And finally, I want to talk about this BizGrid. This is an A5 size planner from Japan. The brand is this particular bookstore called Nagaoka Shoten bookstore, but you might know it by its name, BizGrid. And this is really like a functional type of planner that Japanese people use for work. As you can see, the cover is really understated, and in the beginning, you obviously get the yearly index, and it even allows you to plan far ahead to 2022. Next page, you actually get this really spacious yearly index as opposed to what we've seen earlier where they try to condense it into one. You have plenty of space to write down important dates throughout the year that you can see at a glance. So monthly section, you can see it's very clean, very crisp. You get the dates in just letters, the weekdays in English, and then it does include some of the seasonal calendar, but it doesn't interfere with you very much. And you can see these really nice grid spaces in each of these blocks. And you get the little monthly calendars looking backward, looking ahead down here. I really like it because it's just big, and as opposed to the take a note, the calendar fills the entire A5 note size. So I use this as my work planner for my projects and for work. And here, another great part, we see this in the Fleurir lab planner just now, but Gantt chart, but really spread out across entire spreads. So there's plenty of space for you to track projects based on a weekly basis. Like if you think about a month having at least 4 weeks, this is a good way to kind of track projects and goals throughout, and then see how it kind of feels through the rest of the month. I have a lot of tabs here. So this is again a vertical format. I just love vertical formats, but note that obviously because this book is an A5 size, the width of each column is significantly more than the Nolty. You get check boxes up here. You take a look, check boxes for to-do list. You have this little sidebar for important notes, and down here you have a shaded area for extra notes as well. And the timeline kind of like is pushed down a little bit, so it's really spread throughout the entire page from 7 in the morning to 10 in the afternoon. And then at the back, this is the book with the most note pages. You get a lot of these nice grid note pages. And these papers are all amazing, by the way. All these 4 notebooks tolerate fountain pen really well, and I have zero problem with many of the markers and gel pens that I've been using. I think the only kind of pen I'd be wary of would be Sharpies or any alcohol or oil-based pens. Maybe more so alcohol-based pens than oil-based. So because this is a very businessy sort of planner, you get a lot of cool Japanese reference type pages back here. And then a little about this page. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show you samples of how I used because it's my work planner, but as you can see, I have it fully tabbed out, and I added this little fun bookmark right here. So thank you guys for watching this kind of video talking through these 4 different types of planners that you can consider to use as a journal or as a planner, as a scheduler for next year. I will be sharing with you a special podcast episode on the Stationery Cafe where I detail how I categorize different kinds of notebooks and utilize over 15 different kinds throughout the entire of 2020. Thank you again, and stay tuned to my next video.